All right, the video store is open. I think you just saw. We just went through the bin, and there's a lot of return tapes that we're going to have to sort through. Which,
restock.
Yeah, I mean it's part of our job, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, my name is Eli. I'm one of the co-owners and co-hosts of the Top Shelf Video Podcast.
And I would be Jaime, the other co-owner and brother. So
yeah,
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. This is our podcast where we talk about movies that we kind of grew up with, but also, I guess, just movies that movies that we kind of like. And
yeah,
it was funny. I was going through all the the box of all the return tapes, and it kind of had me thinking because recently we talked about Krull, and I think that was pretty awesome. But and I listened to a variety of podcasts. Like obviously we listened, or I listened. I think you listened to our friends at Flickers from the Cave, and then there's like
a
couple other like podcasts that I like listening to that like it was a shit show, and then there's like Screen Drafts, which is a good one, Unspooled, but through some of these podcasts, like they'll occasionally cover genres and stuff like that, but it kind of had me thinking after we talked about Krull and what we're going to talk about today, do you have like a favorite, like not genre, but let's just go with like more location or like sort of backdrop setting, you know what I mean? Like there's so many like, and I think like 80s counts, right? Like 80s, you can just say like Commando, right? It's just the 80s. Like that was just that time period. And then like in the 70s, it was Death Wish or whatever. But like, is there a particular like sort of backdrop setting that you sort of like, and we've got things, like these movies, right? Which is like fantasy, sword and sandal, or there's like science fiction, Star Wars or space and Last Starfighter, stuff like that. But do you have anything that you tend to like if it's kind of like your junk food, you kind of just grab or reach for something of that background?
I'd have to say, yeah, I guess like because like Star Wars was, I think, the beginning of our appreciation for like effects and the hero's journey and the whole surprise reveal, Darth Vader's the father and Leia's the sister, like I think that was the first time, or like that was the beginning of my understanding of like plot and like, I wanted to know more,
right. The world building of it all.
The world building, like, so like now, and I mean, hell, it's got to be that type of, I guess, what would you call that? Space. I guess like fantasy.
I would say space fantasy because I think science fiction is more like what could be, you know what I mean? Like science fiction tends to be more of the, like in our near future, or like some sort of like, even if there's like robots, and things like that are like in a world that like that's more within the realm of that. And then I feel like space fantasy is almost like, because I mean, like Star Wars in a lot of ways is like these D&D campaigns or these like sword and sandal movies, right? Where it's like you're saying it's a hero's journey, but like in reality, it's just taking place like in space, and that's not really like earthbound or whatever, like that always makes you think of like, do you remember Battle Beyond the Stars? It's the one. It's weird because it's a Roger Corman movie, but I remember we watched it a lot when we were little. The spaceship in particular had like a very like, kind of looked like a snail. Like it had like it kind of had an elongated body, but then it had like these two like sort of, I don't know, like it's hard to describe, but like these two almost like horns that sort of came out of the side. It looked very like it wasn't very like hard surface mechanical like a Star Destroyer. It was very smooth and had like a very organic look to it. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, Battle Beyond the Stars. And it had like a very like what do you call it? Battlestar Galactica kind of feel to it, with like the robots and stuff like that. But that one also like had a very, because I mean that's Roger Corman, so he's like literally trying to rip off like Star Wars, because the main hero was dressed like Han Solo and kind of had the pants with the belt, that's kind of like angled at his side, and he's got
like a gunslinger.
Yeah, like a gunslinger. Yeah. And yeah, I remember he had a very like gruff kind of, like he was part Luke Skywalker and part like Han Solo. But yeah, no, that makes sense if that's kind of like what taps your brain first. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
I feel like for
me, whenever TBS throws it on, I'm watching. I'll leave it on when they have the Star Wars marathon. I always come back to it. It's just, I was big on Mandalorian. I wanted to know the worlds, like the world that was created for the Star Wars universe. It's like never ending. Like there's this planet, and there's it just that shit just fascinates me. I'm sure it'll be way past our lives that, if there's actually space exploration to the point where we're going to other, galaxies far, far away or whatever. But, I mean, just the thought of that is just so cool. I just,
Yeah.
You start thinking about, universe and space and time, and it just, you can go down that rabbit hole. I don't have to get high to talk about that shit. I'm just fascinated by, I mean, it's just, the thought of that's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I feel like fantasy was always one of those things that I feel like always was a touchstone for that. Because like for me, I feel like the movie we're going to talk about today, like the BeastMaster, like for some reason, like I don't want to say resonated, but I think it's more the concept of like this like it's kind of funny, I guess, as the way your brain works as a kid, right? For some reason, like seeing Star Wars just felt more realistic, like. Oh man, like they must have gone to space to film that, right? Like all those things are real. Those ships are real. Cause I mean, they had the real, like they built a lot of those right to full size for the most part. And then like the models and stuff that they built, the way that they filmed them made it feel so real. But in my mind, it was like, oh, that's all just real. Like there's no way that you can fake that, right? It wasn't until I got older that I understood the process. But when I would watch like fantasy films, like Conan the Barbarian or Krull or this, for me, that always felt like very like that's make believe. You know what I mean? Like dragon, like anytime you see a dragon or a thing, right? Like it's like, oh, that can never happen, right? And that never happened.
It's not real.
Yeah. And it's funny because they're all not real, right? But as a kid, my brain would just kind of like I liked the idea of the sort of like the Dungeons and Dragons, like the sort of like that I think that's why I think that's why I tended to like Dungeons and Dragons when we played it when we were younger, because of the make believe. But I say all that because the movie that we're talking about today, the 1982, I think it's 1982,
82, yeah.
Don Coscarelli. It's kind of funny because I wish when I was younger that I had kind of taken the time to understand like what a director does and what like a cinematographer does. And because I loved Phantasm. Yeah. And going back to the whole like fantasy, right? Like stuff that's just kind of like made up or whatever. But like, I never knew that Don Coscarelli, or it wasn't until I was older, right, that I didn't realize that's the same guy who did like Phantasm, right? And it's crazy because, the credits are there when you're younger and all that jazz, but I guess not where we grew up, and not like we didn't grow up, in in the Hollywood area where people would be like, oh yeah, like that's what that does, and they sort of describe it or whatever, right? Like,
hell no.
Yeah, none of that would have like sunken in, right? And even it wasn't until I was like in high school or something, I was like, oh shit, that's the same guy who did like Phantasm. Like that's crazy. And then to grow up here in Dallas, and then watching movies like Bubba Hotep and John Dies in the End, which are like some of his other movies, and they're just crazy fantasy awesome movies that I'm like, man, Don Coscarelli is just such a like has an imagination that I feel like is underrated. I feel like, especially after watching this movie again, I was like, holy crap, like how is this not more like talked about and liked? I mean, I guess you could say something about Krull or whatever, but I mean, we'll talk about it when we kind of get into some of the bits and parts of this movie, but I really had fun going back and watching this one again.
I watched it last night, and I was there's a lot of. I mean, I remembered just about everything, but just watching it with adult eyes.
Yes,
and I was just like, man, that's pretty. Like there were scenes. I'm sure we'll cover the scenes, but there's shit where I was like, man, I don't remember it being that dark.
Yeah,
like what the fuck? Like how did mom not turn this off on us? Because this was. I mean, I'm sure it was edited for TV, like most things, but. But I'm sure, I know we got our HBO time, and every time this came on, we'd watch it, and I just like, man, I don't remember it being that like graphic.
Yeah,
and I was just like, damn.
I remember watching this a lot at Theo Eddie's because he had HBO, and then as when we got older, I think it was like more on TBS pretty often, and it was funny because I'm sure you saw that in the trivia, right, or in some of the notes where they said like. I guess it didn't do well in theaters, but when it made its way to television, cable, and video rental,
it went off.
It went off, and it was just like a huge thing that everybody enjoyed, and it was jokingly HBO was called, "Hey, BeastMaster is on" for HBO, or TBS stood for the BeastMaster station because it was always on, which I was like, oh yeah, I guess there was a period there it was on quite a bit. But yeah, let's jump into 1982's BeastMaster. So you're gonna find this a little interesting. So I have the Psychotronic video guide here, and I'm looking. I have to get my kind of readers here. There is The Beast That Killed Women, The Beauties and the Beast, which was also known as The Beast and the Vixens. That one is rated R. The Beast with the Magical Sword. Okay, so here's the thing. Shockingly, there's no entry for BeastMaster in the video, the Psychotronic video guide. However, there is an entry for BeastMaster 2 through the Portal of Time, which
interesting.
I don't know if you ever saw BeastMaster 2 or BeastMaster 3 or the TV series, The BeastMaster, which was on for like a period of time. I'll end up having to kind of read what IMDb says, because the entry here for, and I don't give away too much, because maybe we will come back around at some point and maybe do a follow-up episode on this and watch BeastMaster 2 if you've never seen it. But BeastMaster 2 is very much somehow our hero Dar makes his way to Los Angeles, like current day Los Angeles in the 80s, and
what the hell? He
travels through time. And it's like a classic fish out of water, like, oh, like, what is a car? What are these T-shirts? Like, what is clothes? So,
So they did Encino Man. Okay.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's Mark Singer and the whole.
I was about to say, does he reprise his role?
He's in all of them. He's in all the movies.
Oh wow.
All the remakes.
Damn.
And I think I have. Pretty sure I have the second one on VHS. I might have the third one on Laserdisc, or at least I want to say that.
I mean, I don't want to be judgmental, but I'm already kind of disappointed.
Well,
man,
the first one didn't do too hot, so I guess you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet, and maybe he was just like, well, I'll take the money, or I'll do what I got to do,
I mean, oh God. Well, that would make a good podcast, I suppose. I mean, I guess we could put it on the to-do list. But,
on the Portal of Time.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna rush to it, so don't worry about. It's not gonna
well.
be in a. It's not gonna be in an episode anytime in the very near future.
Right. Well, just IMDb
special,
it then, so we can. So we can forget about the portal of time.
Let's see here. So, IMDb has this listed as a sword and sorcery fantasy about a young man's search for revenge. Armed with supernatural powers, the handsome hero and his animal allies wage war against the marauding foes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says it was nominated for an award here. Young Artist Award. Best supporting
music.
actor.
I would be anything for music.
No, I don't see anything. It looks like Don Coscarelli was nominated for at a film festival for this, but that's pretty much about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange because this movie didn't pan out very well. It's rated PG, which is kind of funny, based on what you were saying earlier, and we can talk about that right from the get go. This is a very when I rewatched this, I was like, man, I thought Krull was like a very D&D action based game, or a movie that felt like a game. And then we watched this, and I was like, oh, okay, actually, this is the one that outbeats that because right from the onset, there's a really disturbing, kind of opening sequence to this whole movie. We get introduced to I guess he's the king of the land, or I guess he's
well, yeah. I mean, King Zed.
Yeah. King Zed. That's right.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember his name. I was like, wonder if Pulp Fiction had anything to do of their naming of characters, because I was like, everybody our main character's name is Dar, and then the name of the king is Zed, and I'm like, huh, that's a very normal kind of name. But yeah, so I guess we're introduced to Rip Torn, who's the main the main villain, which I also forgot that he was
the evil high priest.
Yeah.
Mayax.
Yeah. I love all the names of everybody except for Zed. It's kind of, I don't know. It just, maybe it's the Pulp Fiction thing of Zed's dead, baby. But I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
so we're,
no, I mean, those names aren't as normal as John Amos's got a character is Seth.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
So I mean that's a little bit more normal than I was just like Seth. Okay, we'll go with that.
Zed, Dar. Yeah. It's just kind of funny because it feels very D&D in that we're introduced to characters right from the onset. And this, I think part of what I do like about Don Coscarelli in this entire movie is he's really good at setting the tone of yes, this movie's quirky to a slight degree, but there's a seriousness to it that you want the hero to win out, but that also means you need to know that the villains are they're not messing around, right? They're bringing evil, and evil needs to be more than just the James Bond I'll get you, fist kind of raising thing. You got to do something in order to actually show that oh, okay, these guys mean business. And right from the onset, I was just holy cow, they really do bring it. And I feel right from the beginning, I was man, I'm really engaged in this and the characters and what these characters are going to kind of go through, because seeing the, I guess what is it? I guess they're the maybe witches or
the witches,
which again, another very D&D, and when I say D&D, maybe I should say more it's more a very Frank Frazetta sort of look, where it's from neck down, it's this really hot bodies of women, and then like from the head up.
And then they show the face, and it's all disfigured
and like that seems like a very like Frank Frazetta like sort of thing, right? Where it's like very like what do you call it? Teardrop or like very curvy, sort of women with big boobs and everything.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
Even like the outfit.
Yeah. They're all dude. The way they were gyrating and kind of like it's like you're drawn in because you're like, oh, I see some ass.
Yeah.
And then it's the big, slap in the face, and it's like they show the face. You're like, ugh, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just real quick. They get like a shock factor, like right in the beginning.
Yeah, and I really like that because it keeps you on your toes, because you think you're in for one thing, and then you're kind of like. Yeah, you're served up another thing, right? And the way they talk, and they're like looking into the cauldron, and like Maddox is like, I actually really like the costume design right here at the very beginning, because like the way that they're tattered like outfits of the witches, looks cool. But then like Maddox has like he's got like big shoulder pad kind of things, but then he's got like the way his hair is cut and like his eyebrows, and like it looks like it's a fake nose. I'm pretty sure that's like a fake nose.
It did look fake. I don't remember him having. Like it almost looks
like an eagle, like a big, like a toucan almost.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But I think it's just it like all the pretty people are like the hero and the king and the You know what I mean? And then they like the dark and the disfigured and the just awkward looking is Mayax and the witches and he's got his
evil
monks.
Yeah, the cultists.
Yeah.
And I so there's so much that happens here at the beginning, right? Because like I guess like the king Zed kind of catches them doing evil stuff, and he basically comes in and says like, don't do your evil shit like in my kingdom. And,
they throw you right into that like right away. I mean, it's like the first couple lines of the it's like, well, here's the prophecy. Like they just throw us right in. It's like, here's the prophecy: the king's unborn son is going to kill you, and he's like, I'm not having that.
Yeah,
and just coincidentally, the king comes in. And he's like, I'm here. You're going to kill an unborn child. We can't, or kill an innocent, and
Yeah,
so,
and I just love that.
Right off the jump.
Yeah, there's no explanation other than like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's bad. And then like I love how like the cultists, the cultists are so, which I'm not sure what or why the purpose was, but like,
yeah, exactly. I don't know what the motivation was.
I assume that just being a cultist to like your like your leader or whatever, like your guide. Like
he was just showing how loyal his people were, I guess. But that didn't take away from the fact that he was being banished from the land by the king, and ended up getting escorted out anyway. So I was like, well, what? Yeah, what was the point of? Why did you hang yourself? I don't understand.
Yeah, why did these guys like hang? Now I will say though,
that'll show you
how they hung themselves. That was awesome. Like that weapon or that thing is a very D&D thing, right? With like, it looked like the way I thought of it was like, it looked like the what do you call it? The chain in your toilet that like has the little like plunger thing. Cause it's, and then like, and it basically has like the toilet plunger thing on it, except it's made of metal and sharp pointy things. And then they can just throw it. And I was like, man, that's a very D&D weapon. Like it's very cool because it's got limited range, but it can be deadly if you roll like a 12 or higher, sort of thing. Like, I really like, it was very inventive. You know what I mean? Like, just all that right from the onset. It's just really cool. And then, and it's pretty dark because then shortly thereafter you see what, and even when I watched it here the other night, and thinking about when I saw that as a kid and not understanding like how all this is working, but when I guess they transport the baby between like the woman and the cow, the bull
and the cow, I guess it's a bull. Well, it says a bull, but
and then there's just like a transfer of it, and you kind of like see it all happening, sort of, and then
that got just that got filed under just magical shit.
Yeah,
because I didn't understand that. Whatever. I mean, that was just a witch doing her thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's it's such a creative, cool like move that like I haven't seen anything like that in a movie in a really long time. Like I could see that in a D&D campaign. Where it's like, oh, you got to do this thing, and then you got to cast a spell and transfer something to like another person or whatever. But like that whole sequence is just really like, I don't want to say satanic, but it's like, it's really cool. It's like dark magic D&D style. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
And even like when there's
evil guy shit.
Oh yeah. Like whenever there's like fire, it doesn't, like they did something to the film. So the fire looks kind of like bluish, greenish. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it added that magic.
I noticed that. Yeah. It kind of gave it because there was, I don't remember. Was there no, I guess it's not until the witch got killed where it turns back to normal. But like right away you notice it's a blue, like it's something different. Mm-hmm. Like there's magic involved, or it's enchanted or whatever whatever you want to use. But yeah, it's something different clearly.
Yeah.
But that was definitely noticed right away.
Yeah, and I really like that. Just I mean, honestly, the first, like in my notes, like the first like probably about 10 minutes of this movie is pretty like dark and hardcore, because then like the baby is like rescued and has like I guess like a mystery father now, and things just kind of move on, and we basically get to see Dar, who this ends up being, right, like the king's son or whatever, who is like saved from like these evil witches who have like a very like witchy laugh, like they literally have the classic,
classic witch.
But like between that and like the father, which I forget the father's name, but he has like a very like I don't know how to describe him other than like a very middle class D&D player, right? Like where it's like, oh, it's like this NPC guy that's just pretty generic. Like he's
just average, just a standard villager.
Yeah.
Nothing average super blade, special about him.
Average boots, average armor, like everything. All stats are like basically 5 all the way down, with maybe like fathering or like what would that probably be? Like some sort of persuasion is maybe like a 7, or an 8, because he's like a father, so he's kind of got some skills there or whatever. But and so between that opening and then you get to see, basically get the very quick montage of like he's a little boy and now he's like this super hot, like chiseled guy that is growing up in a in their city, which again, like I was trying to look up and seeing like where, like, was concept art created by Frank Frazetta or was it somebody else or whatever? Because like you see this like NPC generic dad going to the village, and the village, I don't know if you remember, but like all the houses are like on stilts. Like they're all up in the air, which is, I guess, maybe a defensive sort of thing because it's surrounded by like Because I can't think of, like, I mean, why would they be raised if there was no water nearby? Like it wasn't like there was a threat of that.
Yeah, it wasn't like in a floodway or something. But I can only assume that as we find out later, there's the Juns, the Horde. Yeah. So maybe that was a reason for elevating stuff, but at the same time, it was really easy to just knock them over. But I mean, it wasn't a very big village, and they weren't very fortified, right? But I love the look. You know what I mean? Like again, it feels very D&D where, like, it'd be easy enough to be like, oh yeah, there's just these buildings on the ground or whatever, but then there's like this image of a distant like city that's sort of elevated in a way that's like, that's cool, even though it's very like rustic, right? Because it's just using like poles and things. It's not all like the contrast between that and the temple and the I guess like the main city that we end up seeing later. Like it definitely drives that contrast, right? Of like
that feels almost like very utilitarian or very almost like I don't know, I don't know, kind of like, I don't want to say Soviet, but it was almost kind of like, it's got a very like authoritarian sort of vibe to it, you know, and the temples like at the back of it. And then these guys are like the working class, because it's like they, you know, the perimeter around it, the poles are not all like even, and you know, it feels very like oh, these are good people because they're doing as much as they can with what they got or whatever.
Yeah, I think they were very much more of a farming community, because during the raid, all the young men seemed to be out, kind of. I forgot exactly what was the scene, but like the dad throws Dar the hoe, the farming tool. Yeah, you know. So yeah, they were very much a farming village. Yeah. So yeah, not a lot of like warriors or defensive. Yeah, they're not like fighters in that.
Yeah.
And actually, I wanted to mention before, because it does happen kind of briefly. The small short montage of young Dar before he's but because when he's a kid, it was when we first get introduced to his ability to talk to animals. He's able to communicate with animals. Right. When he has the bear attack on one of the other villagers, and the dad's like, "We can't tell anybody what just happened."
That's right.
Like we got to keep that a secret. So yeah, that's the first time we get introduced to the whole Master of Beast ability,
which is interesting too, because there's no mention of that in anything in the beginning of like, oh, the king has like this ability to whatever, or like, you know what I mean, like it just
I wonder if that was like a mutation of him being transported into an animal.
I was about to say
because there's nothing, and even so later on, when way down when the king's rescued or whatever, and he kind of makes mention, and he kind of says, you know, this guy's a freak. I mean, not knowing what it is. So I mean, obviously that's not something that it was in his lineage, right? So it has to have been something like a side effect of the whole
cow milk
kidnapping the body from because that kind of mutated him into having this ability. I mean, it's never really said. He never really dives into how did I get this. There's no all we can do is assume that, you know, the only other time that he interacts with some kind of animal was during the magical kidnapping, right? Yeah, you know, in the very beginning.
Yeah, you're right, and I like that, because it leaves a little bit for us, the viewer, right, to like just decipher that, and there's not like a big, you know, oh well, you know, back there the story is that da da da. It's like whatever. Like he fucking has the ability to somehow like relate to animals, and that's cool, you know, and I really like that. You know, it's you know, like I feel like there's maybe more you can do with that, and maybe there's more backstory, you know, if you want to do more world building, but you know, it's like whatever. And that's also at that same time is also when we get introduced to that really cool weapon that kind of made me think of Krull, where it's some sort of like a boomerang sort of weapon. Although I want to say that that's probably, I think that's a real weapon or more real type of weapon. I don't know if it actually was a boomerang type weapon, but I want to say there was, I don't know if you ever watched this show back when there used to be Spike TV. I don't know if you remember that channel.
I remember Spike TV, yeah.
There used to be like, what was it called? Like something like a warrior fight or warrior something. Like something warrior. Damn. And it was like
where they would use different
either different weapons or different
warriors from different
and they would basically say like, oh, these guys had swords and these guys had, you know, crossbows, so like, but one had armor and da-da-da, so they would, you know, whatever. And it felt like a very D&D matchup sort of thing. But I want to say that I remember watching an episode of that where they may have had a weapon similar to that. Or it may have been something that like was on a rope that you could swing around or whatever, but it was really cool. But in any case, you get to see that. I thought that was like pretty awesome. And yeah, so like all that happens within the first 10 minutes, because then like we see little Dar and then we see big Dar, where now he's like, you know, all like super cut and wearing like his little loincloth and like perfect hair and like like oiled up body. It's just like, oh man, like they really went all in on this guy. But and he, like you said, he's in the village, and then the village gets attacked by the horde. And man, I have to say, like when the horde comes over like the crest of like the mount or the hilltop or whatever, like man, that is very Frank Frazetta, like that silhouette,
the big the dust horned, coming.
Yeah, there's dust, and then like you see the guy with the armor with the helmet, but it's kind of got like the wing, like sort of serpent thing,
kind of bat wingish.
Yeah, but like from a distance, like if you were to just draw that silhouette, like without even drawing any detail, that's an awesome looking character on a horse, and
oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was like something that probably would have been like a Frazetta sort of thing. But yeah, so that like they invade the town and they literally just kill everybody. They kill the dad, they killed all the farmers, and I guess the young men were out, like you said, they were out farming in a distance, and so the town was left with all, I guess, like the sort of the older men and women who couldn't defend themselves as well. But yeah, and then it even goes as so dark as like they kill the dog that like is Dar's like friend, like his dog that rescued,
saves his life.
Yeah, he gets arrowed, and I was like, oh man, like I really forgot about this. This is like a real like what's his name, like a Don Bluth like sort of animated movie where it's like, man, he's taken away from his dad at the very beginning. There's evil witches. There's an evil priest. There's a bear that almost kills him and his dad. His family gets killed, and they kill his dog, and they burn down the village. Like, it's like, holy crap. Like what I was mentioning when we started, like, I feel like Don Coscarelli did an amazing job of like setting the tone of like, this is going to be a revenge story. And this is like, this is as close as to like John Wick as you can get back then, because like everything that could go bad with this dude has gone bad.
Yeah.
And like
they took everything.
The fact that he wants revenge, like I'm right there with him. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's go do this. Like, you don't deserve this. You did nothing wrong. And it was almost like in the first 10 minutes that it made me think like, why do people not talk more about this movie? Like, setting the tone of a movie like this, and like you were saying with Star Wars and stuff, right, where like you want to know more about this world and stuff like that. Like, I remember feeling that as a young kid watching this movie of like being mad and angry too that they killed the dog specifically, even though like I know Dad didn't let us have a dog, and the most we had was a hamster. But like,
yeah,
like even now that I'm a dog dad, and have two of my own dogs, like watching a dog get like arrowed and killed, like it was like kind of hard to watch. I was just like, oh man, like I'm going to go kill that guy too. Like I wouldn't let anybody do that to my dog. So like, I really love like if you were my dungeon master and that was the setup that you gave me, and you're like, all right, so what's our quest? Our quest is revenge. And I'm like, hell yeah. I want the biggest sword. I want like as much shit that I can get to
whatever I can carry.
Yeah, whatever I can carry. I want to go, do my thing or whatever. And so yeah, he basically the rest of the movie. I mean, we can talk about some of the key points between there, which really just kind of boils down to like this montage of like continued sequences where he meets like all the other people, right? Like, it's kind of funny because the next main character that he meets is like the eagle, like the eagle that seems to just be hovering around because he can see through the eyes of the eagle. And I was watching this with Denise, and I almost joked. I was like, I feel like the eagle is really the hero of this movie because, and we'll talk about it as in a couple of the other back end scenes, but like the eagle does quite a bit like in this movie and saves the day a number of times. And I don't know, for some reason, because of the way the eagle like kind of does this little like scream, it almost seems like he's a little arrogant of like, hey dude, like, are you going to do anything yourself? Because like I seem to be doing everything here. I can see ahead. I can like, tell you where all this stuff is, but yeah, so like he gets, I guess he already knew he had, the ability to work with the animals, but then when he sees that he has like the ability to see through the eagle, and then it's almost like, okay, cool. Like, it's almost like this guy's been sent to work with me because he's like my eyes on the in the ground. And so like,
oh yeah,
he knows that he's going to go kill the horde, or he wants to go after the horde. So he's going to go after them, and he starts off on his quest. And of course, like the first person I think that he runs into is like the hot girl taking a bath in like the waterfalls,
Yeah. Well, he gets the ferrets before that.
Oh, that's right. He
gets the eagle, then the ferrets, and then the ferrets help him. Oh, and the panther.
And the Black Panther. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We also I forgot because
he gets all his animals first, and then that's when after that he runs into the girl.
This is the second movie in a row where we have to deal with quicksand, which, like I said, I think last time, I don't know if you worked in quicksand into any of your D&D campaigns, but now you've got two movies in a row that, like, if it wasn't for what is it, Kodo and Podo?
Kodo and Podo.
Like, if it wasn't for Kodo or Podo, I don't remember which one saves him. But yeah, like he would have died. And so he gets out of the quicksand. That's right. Then, he meets up with the, it's funny because I guess it's supposed to be like I guess it was supposed to be like a leopard, but it's clearly just a tiger that's been, that they've dyed the skin, the fur, because you can see the stripes. And it's like, oh, well, I guess they did what they had to do back then because they didn't have CG or whatever.
I gotta say, man, whoever the animal handler or animal trainer was, they knew their shit, man. Because that the fact that they were using real animals and there was no CGI back then.
Yeah.
I mean that was all the animal scenes were impressive. I mean, to the bear attack.
Yeah.
Obviously they trained Mark Singer enough to he had the eagle land on his arm, and it just seemed like those were legitimate. Like, it looked like the ferrets.
Yeah.
Were like, they got them to do exactly what they needed to do to film those scenes, and it was really impressive.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, that like the animal training was top notch back then because, well, it had to be because they were there.
And they always say, right, like, you shouldn't work with like children or animals in movies, and it's like they really leaned into one of the ones that they're not supposed to do. And one thing I want to just mention before I forget, just to kind of go back on the opening 10 minutes, when it comes to like really cool things in movies, right when the horde shows up and they're going to attack the village, I thought it was super awesome. I had a note for it in particular because I thought it was so cool. But like, the father is at the front of the gates because everybody else is like out farming, but he pulls out like the badass sword, I guess the sword that he ends up giving his son, or Dar. But like, when the horde like is, I don't know, they're like a couple of meters out, and then the father's at the gate, and he takes out the sword, and then he like draws a line like in the sand, and it's like, dude, that is awesome. Like, again, like, I mean, I can't.
It was a powerful scene.
Yes,
because he was like, he's gonna, like, this is the line.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we got to hold the line, and unfortunately they get overrun pretty easily. But like, it adds to the drama, right? Of like, they're gonna do their best, and if only their young people were there, and unfortunately they're out farming or whatever. But I feel like, again, Don Coscarelli like really sets that tone so awesomely that it's like, I'm so invested, and and so like, he gets his animal friends along the way, and that's why I feel like it feels very D&D, right? It's like you're just collecting like
your party members.
Yeah, and even if they're like your auxiliary ones, right? Like the tiger's with you, but the tiger's with you, but like you only use him occasionally. And the other times he's out, like, I don't know, like eating deer or something, right? Because he's a tiger. But you can call upon him, right? Or the same with the ferrets. You pull them out from the satchel,
Your bag of tricks,
of when you need them. But
it was like just a they were like a part of his toolkit. When he needed to scout ahead or get intel, he would send out the eagle. When he needed to, take some shit, steal some keys or what have you, he'd get the ferrets out of the bag. And when he needed to muscle, he'd the tiger would just be there.
Yeah, and I feel like if there's anything that kind of holds the movie back just a little bit, if we're like sort of giving it critique, because I think that the writing's great. I think that the pacing, the editing, all that stuff's really great. I feel like the only one thing that could have made this more over the top and more grandiose would have been like if the cinematographer or whoever filmed it was a little bit maybe more experienced to give more of like a Conan the Barbarian sort of feel. Because like what I like about Conan the Barbarian is it feels like big and epic because they would show like big scenes where it sets up things, right, where it's like they're small on the screen but you can see like this big valley that they're in or whatever, and you see it a couple times in this movie, but then outside of that the rest of it feels kind of like this filmed for television kind of like feel, like everything's kind of tight,
kind of tight.
And you don't get as much like, and I get it like for the sake of like when they're in the latter part of the movie when they're in the main city or whatever, because they probably have a set that's only so big and they can't show it super wide. But even like there are scenes in between that where it's almost like it would have been cool if they could have provided a little bit more of that, like just kind of bigger feel. Because I feel like that's what makes fantasy movies like kind of cool, is like, being able to see that this is a planet or this is a world that, just kind of big and grandiose. But so yeah, he meets with the slave girl, Tanya Roberts, which it's funny because like there was a fair amount of nudity in that scene. And then I looked over and I was like, wait, this movie's rated PG. Like, we've already seen a baby put into a cow, dudes murdered, burned, a dog gets killed, and boobies, and we're rated PG. I was like, man, the 80s were awesome. Like, it just, like, what the hell? Like, what happened? So, yeah, he meets with her, which is kind of funny because it's a very light, like, oh, I have now a side quest, which is to find this girl.
Find the girl.
Find the girl, but that's not really my main quest. My main quest is still and will forever be revenge, but she's pretty hot, so I'm gonna go after her as like a submission after I complete the main mission. And I think the next major sequence that I feel like we have to talk about because it was scary as a kid and it was pretty dope as an adult, which is like when I guess the bird leads him to, I don't know, like I guess like this like almost like a what do you call it? Like a Stonehenge kind of like area that's sort of, I guess, like on the top of a hilltop or mountain or something where the bird people live, or I don't know. Like,
yeah, man, that was like so like out of nowhere.
Yeah,
because he was essentially just traveling. I mean, he just saw like, a fire in the distance on the top of a hill near a big tree, and he's like, well, I'll go there. Maybe there's people I can talk to, or get supplies or whatever. And it was just I forgot that shit.
I forgot about it too, and then I remember because like as soon as he shows up, I'm like, oh, that is right. I forgot about this. And like there's like a dude in a cage that's been captured, and like there's other cages that are kind of around, and then like so and this is again you have to credit the director. I'm sure that you have art directors and people that helped out as well too. But man, I've never seen like a creature like this outside of like a D&D or a Frank Frazetta like painting, where it's just like, man, that is some weird design of like half man, or not even half man, like quarter man, mostly bird, kind of people. And man, they are creepy looking, and they have the ability, I guess. Well, not the ability. I guess in order for them to feed, they just eat people, and they basically
they just dissolve the
They I guess what they give them.
I don't even know what you'd call that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like a death hug. Like a tight bear hug.
It just dissolves the body, because
I guess it's
that
eating
prisoner.
Them or something.
It's just kind of like whatever acidic, whatever. Because when they open it, it's just bones.
Well, but then also, wasn't there like goo, like green, as they were squeezing it or doing whatever? Like I'm not even sure what they were eating. Like when you think about it, like, plus I don't know why people have green goo in them, but I like that. Maybe that people on that planet have green blood. I don't know. But yeah, that whole sequence was like really freaky. And then like he's like surrounded by all the birdmen, and then like his bird is the hero of the movie, the bird, or the eagle.
Again,
he shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, he's cool. He's with me."
He's with me.
And then they all back off like, "Okay, it's cool. It's cool. We weren't really going to eat you. Maybe just pick a little bit, And then they give him a medallion, like a bird medallion, like a calling card, kind of very, if you ever need anything, our number's on the back of this.
Like a fantasy get out of jail free.
Yeah.
Kind of, something like an amulet.
Yeah.
I mean, which again, you keep referencing D&D, and that would be, like you're like this kind of random encounter that happens, and you end up leaving it with an amulet that
does something, but you don't
makes
know.
you an honorary cannibalistic half bird man. So you can just kind of like caca and just call them when you need. You
right.
know?
And then you can use them. Yeah. And they're effectively going to wipe out like an entire, like whatever, if you need it. But yeah, again, like I just love that sort of idea of like I feel like Coscarelli left a lot for us to have to figure out on our own, but there are enough visual cues that it's like, they literally give him a calling card, and it's like, okay, maybe I'll need that later. And I honestly kind of forgot about them coming back at the end of the movie. Because again, like it's an adventure and everything's just kind of moving forward. And then you realize like, oh, the movie's not over. So yeah, I guess between that sequence and then he ends up going to the city because he's looking for, I guess he's getting a better understanding of like where the horde is and where they've gone. He goes to the city, to go see like, oh, maybe I can get help there. But then he realizes that the city is being run, by Malik, and that the king has been put away and he's imprisoned, and like everyone's kind of basically under like authoritarian law, I guess. And,
the high priest has taken over.
Yeah.
The what was that town called? Aruk.
Yeah. So
Aruk is like, I guess that's like because he came from a small village,
right?
Where I guess Aruk, with it having the temple and more structured housing, was like the next big, like the big city,
right? The
big town. And everybody knew that's where the king and the high priest, and so
times are bad in Aruk. Which again,
I don't remember because I'm trying to remember if he runs into Seth, John Amos's character, before or after, because like he knows that the Jun working, like they're in cahoots with the high priest. They're kind of they're like the muscle of the high priest,
right?
They're the ones just keeping things, I guess keeping everybody, oppressed, suppressed, or whatever, and then he kind of, so I think that's why he knows to go there.
I think it's no, I think it's after, because he goes there because I want to say that Tanya Roberts' character is like, oh, she's a slave for in the city.
Yeah.
So he goes there looking for her, but then he stumbles across the fact that, and again, this is a PG movie, or PG for the 80s. He comes across the city, and Rip Torn is like literally just throwing kids into fire and being like, oh,
that's right.
He's like, they need a sacrifice. Goosh. And just throwing kids in the fire. And I'm like, God damn. Like,
dude, yeah, that was so fucked up, man. I was just like, yeah, but now that you're saying that, I'm like, how the hell was this PG? Like, in the 80s, what did it take to be an R?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how bad did you have to be?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if it was just language, like if they had the word fuck or something. I don't know what the magic block to check to make it an R, because there was so much messed up shit in this movie.
I mean,
so I was like, how is this PG?
Yeah, I think it's just fine, where I was just like, oh man, they totally threw that kid in the fire. And that was, I mean, it's not like they showed the kid burn, but they did show him like throw him into the fire, and then like the fire gets bigger, and you're like, oh, that kid is not coming back. Like that kid's done for.
Yeah. That's a pit. That's a pit. You're not getting out of that.
Yeah. And so like, he befriends one of the villagers because he saves like one of the children, and and he's like, like, hey, I saved your kid, and I need some information, and so he explains.
I thought it was pretty fucked up the way Mayak was like, when the kid gets saved by the eagle, and he's kind of he's kind of there like, how do I spin this? Yeah, and he's like, you see, the gods are mad, they want your children, and I mean, I was like, that motherfucker. Yeah, that was a very parlance of our times, you could say, of like, distraction over here. Like, that's, they're mad. They're the ones. Look how mad they are. Everything stays the way it is. Like, but yeah, so he gets information there because, he's told about, the sacrifices, and that, they're going to sacrifice the slave girls. That's why they have them. And he's like, oh, well, then I have to go rescue him. Basically, it's just a plot point to be like, oh, now you have to leave the city to go find them. And he's like, oh, yeah, they take him to wherever. And so he's like, all right. So and then I believe that's when he meets McDowell, John Amos's character. McDowell.
Which, I mean, man, he's like awesome in this movie because he's got a lot of like style and like pizzazz about him. Like he's like, he's not cocky. He's very confident as a fighter, and like, the only one thing that I will say about this movie, and I mentioned it to Denise, and I want to say it's when John Amos's character, I'll just call him McDowell's, when the McDowell's like shows up, it's very like, and I guess this is part of like deep lore, like, D&D fantasy, Frank Frazetta sort of look, is like, there's a lot of leather, and there's a lot of like manties, like man panties that are like, they look like Superman's like underwear, but like without the tights. And so like, his look, like the look of McDowell in this movie with like the leather straps and like the leather harness and like the manties, it's just like, man, that's a lot, like,
that's a lot to visually take in.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but it makes him look awesome because he was really, he was really muscular in this time period. Like I was trying to think, I was like, well, this is a ways before Coming to America, so he probably this would have been what his Good Times era, probably, right? Like he would have been coming out of TV's Good Times.
I guess so.
And there was another show I want to say that he was in, but
I saw he played football. I mean, he didn't last. I think he never made it to the NFL, but he was an athlete, and then he ended up just going the way of acting because the NFL career didn't pan out.
Man, I could
because
see,
he was in solid shape in this movie.
I had no idea he was it makes sense because he has that charisma of like an athlete. You know what I mean? Like you can
like
hear
an
him
athlete turned actor. Yeah,
yeah. You can hear him in an interview like, oh, well, we gotta give 100% today and make sure that our defense is on. Like he's kind of got that voice that you can hear him saying those things, to like a reporter of like, well, we just got to take it one game at a time, and we got to we got to minimize our errors, and I can see us coming out on top today. He's so well spoken, and I feel like he's one of the greatest that guy sort of character actors. He was never outside of on television of Good Times and wow, man, what's the other show that he was in during that time period? It's because wasn't like Sanford and Son a spinoff of one of those shows? But I'm not
100% sure.
Yeah, I do remember. I don't know if you remember this, and it's kind of a weird area in Disney lore, but do you remember that he was in a movie? Like it was a
World's Greatest Athlete.
Is that what it is? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Jan Michael Vincent.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. He was a coach, and it was him and Tim Conway. I loved that movie.
Yes.
As a kid.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was the coach, because I remember when I was watching this, dude. It's so, man. That's why we're brothers, dude. That's like I fucking tell you, every time this happens, every time, because we didn't talk about this.
No,
we don't talk prior to recording. And I remember watching this movie. I was like, man, what was that movie? I loved it so much. And I was like, I was like, I know Jan Michael Vincent. I know he was in this. What is? And I looked it up, and it was World's Greatest Athlete.
Right. Okay.
So I was prepared to talk about that. Like, when we got to talking about him, I was prepared to bring that up in his filmography. Because I was like, I remember that movie. That movie was one of my favorite. I mean, it's from 1973.
Yeah.
So it was. It was definitely an HBO in the rotation, because that came out when I was born.
Right.
So, but I remember that movie, and I remember loving that shit.
It was so, because it was so gimmicky, and it had all the the nods of like gimmicky Disney back then. Before we derail like too much on a different movie. Yeah. It's just funny because like, for whatever reason, like I guess that streak of McDowell in that period, like I really wish, and maybe there is, maybe I need to look into his filmography a little bit more, but I would love to see more movies with like McDowell, because like he's so charismatic. He's the best casting for this movie of like, again, going back to the whole D&D thing, right? Having a friend that comes over who is very like cocky, and like he's that D&D guy that's like, yeah, I'll go for it. What are you going to use? It's like, I'm just going to use my staff. Like, cause I feel like I can handle it. And he constantly rolls like 16, 18, 20, like, and you're just like, God damn. Like, and that's how like the character in this movie like feels. Like he feels very like that sort of type of character. And I love it.
Yeah. He's like, I got you.
Yeah. He's like, I got this. It's cool. Oh, that's right. And he also has a little kid with him, and the little kid, or at least from what we're told, and he's told, is like, he is the future king of the village, because like that's his dad that's in prison. And he's like,
Tao.
Yeah, because
is the name of the boy.
Yeah, that's right. Because they talk about how like they figure out the relationship between each other, because he's like,
right.
Oh, wait a minute, like I used to work for Zed. I was one of his like high guard.
I was gonna say, do you remember seeing him in the beginning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he knows that.
Because we saw him. We saw him briefly in the beginning, in the opening scene, but then we don't see him again for another 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah, almost an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like years later.
Yeah. It would be
Dar's grown up.
Almost like 15 or 18 years.
Well,
later,
I don't know how old.
I assume
Dar
that they're
is supposed to be in this.
I assume that they're
movie.
trying to say like, oh, he's 18. He's like, man, he is not 18. But I feel like they try to do that at the very beginning. because they're trying to be like, oh, he's my dad, and all I know is farming, and I don't know anything. Like
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. It was kind of the innocent farmer, Luke Skywalker ish. Like, I just farm.
Yeah,
I don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even supposed to be here today. So yeah, I feel like it's supposed to be like this like 18-year-old kind of guy or whatever. But yeah, they figure out that they have a relationship and that he tells them, oh yeah, like I was like high guard, and he doesn't know obviously his backstory other than he's like, yeah, they kill my family and I want revenge. And he's like, well, I can probably help you get revenge. Cause he's like, basically we have we have a rebel alliance. Like it gets very Star Warsy in that point, right? Where he's like, well, we have a rebel alliance, and I've got a dude who's also willing to go up against to bring down the current regime because they have the king imprisoned, and the Tau is supposed to be bring back and restore order to everything, and he's like, oh, also the hot girl you're after, that's like my cousin. And it's like, oh, okay, what a convenient plot point. But so it almost just brings the whole group together to say hey, we have now finished out our what do you call it? Our what do you call it? I guess our guild, or not our guild,
just your party.
Yeah, your party, your raiding party. Yeah. So they basically form out the raiding party from that, and then they rescue Tanya Roberts, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll help you guys out, and it's funny because again, going back to, I guess they go back to the city, because they want to kill not Zed, Malik, Mayak, yeah.
Max, yeah.
And so they kind of go back to the main city, which is funny because then we get that's the first time.
Oh, that's right. They got to get in. They got to get into the temple.
Yeah, that's right. Because they want to break out the father of Tanya Roberts, who's the leader of the Rebel Alliance, I guess, and he's locked up in the city. And that's the first time we get to see the Berserkers, I guess, or I don't know if they actually call them Berserkers. Shit. But yeah, going back to the leather S&M, kind of thing. It's man, these guys have they have a gimp mask, and then they have leather chaps and spikes and stuff. I mean, I think they look cool. But
it's they got they shopped. Do you remember? I know you've seen Dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
You've seen Dodgeball. So at the end when they get they're supposed to get their shirts and they end up getting the wrong package.
Yeah,
and it's all a bunch of S&M shit.
Yeah,
and these berserker creature monster things were all dressed up like an S&M convention. Yeah. That was some crazy shit.
I thought they were awesome. They felt very they feel like an adult version of do you remember in Gauntlet there was always that one little black character that was an evil robot looking guy at the higher levels that was he was really hard to kill, and if you ran into him, he basically the only way you could kill him was I think you had to clear out a level, or you had to but he basically you can shoot him all you want, but he won't die.
Wasn't it death?
If
it was
maybe
a black.
Maybe it was death because it's a top-down 2D, so it was hard to see what he looked like. But that's what reminded me of these guys because they had the glowy eyes, and then they just would not stop, and they just kind of kept running crazy.
Yeah, they were just unstoppable. Yeah, they had a very Wrath of Khan way to that green. It looked like a gummy worm that they would stick in the ear.
Yeah, and it made him go crazy.
That was kind of we make him go crazy, and that would set off just eat the brain or whatever.
Yeah. Those dudes were cool. They felt very I want to say I've seen a drawing like that of Frank.
Yeah, that's some Mad Max shit.
Yeah, and those dudes were awesome. So yeah, they break out the leader of the Rebel Alliance, and then they escape, and then they basically formulate a plan on okay, well, we need to take them down, but then I want to say I forget exactly how everybody gets caught, but that's right, because the rebel guy, the guy is like, oh man, you're a freak, like you and your animals and whatnot. So he kind of kicks him out of like, yeah, I don't want you here. And then of course, like everybody else gets caught. So like,
well, you remember that? Did you remember the was it Tao? Tao, the king's son is wearing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't remember how he got a hold of that ring, but the ring had the witch's eye on it.
Oh,
so
that's
they were
right.
they were able to live. They were like they already knew what they were going to do because they were trying to get the king to like. They're like, we need to do something else. You know, like
that's right.
Mayox knows the plan, and he's
That's
like,
right.
no, we're doing it.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like he saw the eye was like watching and listening. I mean, he still burned it and poked it out, but he was like, we can't go through with this because they know the plan. And the king, you know, being stubborn ass king, because he wants to regain his power or whatever. He's like, no, we're doing it. And then he's like, well, we're gonna get caught then.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they got caught.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember that being like, oh man, I guess that was like early Wi-Fi hacking or something, like, or FaceTime. Like somehow your Facebook got hacked and they hacked your FaceTime. Yeah, it's right. So like everybody gets captured, and now it's left up to Dar to basically go and rescue everybody. So he's like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll just like Leroy Jenkins this bitch, and then he like runs. He runs into the place and goes and pretty much kills everybody. But yeah, it's funny because like, we get the full arsenal of like seeing all his abilities. You know, he uses his sword, he uses like the boomerang thing. He uses all like the animals to help like, you know, take out everybody. He uses like karate and kung fu when he's up on the top of the temple. Yeah, it's really cool. And then like, I mean, he basically he saves the king and he kills Rip Torn's character, which is funny because I was like,
well, no, the king gets killed.
Oh, that's right.
The Rip Torn character, he kills the king up on the top.
That's right. Yeah, that's where the movie
gets
like.
Tal's able to take over.
The movie gets real dark again because like doesn't like Tao get like he gets arrowed as well too, and I was like, man, they fucking shot the kid. He gets an arrow. Yep. I was like, damn, they're like killing everybody. The kid's getting like thrown into fires, and then this kid's getting arrowed in the chest, and like, but yeah, it was funny. I kind of forgot, that, like, he kills them on the top of the on top of the pyramids, and then I was like, wait, is the movie over? And then I was like, oh wait, no. I was like, because the horde still hasn't.
Yeah, they see the cloud of dust.
Yeah, that's like approaching.
Is coming. Yeah.
And then they do like the three amigos sort of like, oh, we're gonna have to like set up the village.
Yeah.
Or
they're
city.
like, what do you want to do? And the kid's still the king. And they're like, you're the king now. What do you want to do?
Yeah. And all the people are like, no,
we're gonna fight.
Yeah. I love when it's like he's like giving the speech up on the like on the temple or the like the higher temple, and all the people are like watching because he's like, no, the people need to fight, and it's funny because he's like, run up the temple and fight. And I was like, well, who's left though? Like, there's nobody there to fight. And then like when they're giving the speech, he's like, we need to like stand our ground or fight. And then like, they're like the people of the city are like, but it's like the horde. And he's like, well, you have to make a decision. You know, we can either stay and fight or we can run. And you hear like one guy in the background be like, we should run away. And I'm like, wow. Like, wow, that seems very like, with the current times of like, no, I don't care about the greater good. I just want to run away. And, I was like, that was kind of funny. And then like, I think like, they give the big harrowing speech, right? Of like, no, we should stand and
Tal
fight.
looks he looks at Dar, and Dar kind of gives him the nod, like, I got you.
Like,
and
no, we got
the kid's
this.
like, we'll fight.
Yeah. And he convinces her, it's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll fight, you know? And, so there's like the montage of them getting ready for the final fight or whatever.
Yeah. I like how you reference that. It's like very Three Amigos-ish.
Yeah. It's very like
the whole town's going to like put dirt on the moat. and just we're gonna it was very much like so grandma, so like the wind, and they're just covering.
It's very
just everybody's throwing dirt.
It's very haphazard, and I guess that's fair, right? Because the Horde is like they set them out to be like, oh man, it's just that they are an unstoppable force, and you guys are screwed if you think you're gonna try to take them on, and so it's just kind of funny the way that they kind of go about all of that, and it what I think is funny about that is they get it all set up, they close the gate, and then what is it? Something happens where they get drawn out, because I think they're trying to set the moat on fire to like draw them in.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
But something goes wrong and they get arrowed, or somebody gets.
Yeah, the villager that's running out there gets taken out. So then the kid goes under, and then Kiri goes under to go after the kid, and then Dar climbs over the fence.
Well, and that's the funny thing too is like they're just avoiding like the gates being closed, and then like Dar just jumps over the gate, and I'm like, wait a minute, if he can jump over the gate, and then like McDowell jumps over the gate, I'm like, that gate ain't gonna do shit for these guys. Then like, why don't you just leave the gate open so you can at least see where they're coming from? Because like it was a very athletic move by Dar. I was like pretty impressed because he like two-step like jumps over. Like it's like he parkours over it and you're like, whoa, that's awesome. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, then that doesn't make it a very effective gate. If that's like, if he can do that. I mean, these other guys are like way stronger than he is. So I thought that was pretty like kind of funny. But I will say like, man, it's a pretty heavy metal ending with like the Horde showing up at night. They do eventually set the moat on fire. And so you have these dudes in black with swords, with badass silhouettes, in fire, in smoke, fighting on a desert, like, with swords and like horses. Like, if I could rescore this music, I would put like some badass like Nordic heavy metal music at the end, just to like
right
amp up the like the intensity.
The intensity.
Because it leads up to the main bad guy, who I don't know if they give him a name or not, but him and Dar fight like on the bridge, and it's like it's really cool. Like that fight, like maybe not the best choreographed thing, but I mean it was 1982, and you got to give it some level of leniency, but it's all still like really awesome, and seeing all that kind of go down is really cool. And then I think everybody wins in the end. They realize like, or I guess McDowell realizes like, oh wait a minute, you're actually the lost son, because he sees like he sees the branding. But he's like, no, I don't want to do that. He's like, I want to make sequels. He's like, Tal will make a better king than me. And I've got then he gets the girl at the end, and birds, and then the eagle is kind of like hovers around them at the end, and is kind of like, get a room, like you guys need to stop like just making out in the middle of everywhere. But that's right. But that's right. At the end, they show one of the ferrets has baby ferrets.
Oh,
that's right. Because one of them.
But the one, I guess the dad, the one of the ferrets, the male ferret, I guess, jumps on Mayak's. Like he jumps on him, and he's what gets him to fall into the fire.
That's right. He saves
up on the top of the temple. He the ferret sacrificed himself.
Yeah, to save Dar.
To save Dar. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a very like, that's a very Don Bluth, sort of thing, where it's like, when you think about who this movie was made for, like you can only assume that, I guess, he was like, well, like young fantasy people, not really like kids like us, but it made its way to us, and we were like, we watched the shit out of this. So like, whether it was intentional or not, like we ended up being the audience. And I mean, I don't know how many Gen X people I've talked to that are like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. Like, oh yeah, I remember that movie, because like we were all like teenagers or young kids watching this movie. Maybe that's why like it didn't do well in theaters, right? Because we were the ones that were very interested in that. And I don't know if you're like in your 20s or 30s, like in the 80s, like maybe you're more, focused on other things that were happening during the time period, that it's like, maybe just the appeal wasn't there or something. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, this is top notch stuff. I mean,
given that we were the children of this era, I mean, when I look at the movie poster, I can see why Mom wouldn't let us go see this movie.
Oh yeah,
like we didn't see that. We didn't see this in theaters.
Yeah,
I mean, it's half naked woman, half naked dude. I could understand back then,
right,
why the parents of Gen Xers would be like, no,
yeah,
let's go. You can watch the Smurfs
again, or
in the summer you can get your Cinemark movie passes for I don't know how many fucking times we watched the Smurfs and
the gummy bears, or what was the other one called?
Whatever.
The Littles. I don't know if you remember that. The little.
Oh God.
The little people.
Yeah, the Littles. Yeah. Whatever animated stuff that they'd have. I mean, I'm sure there was some Disney shit. But we were. Well, I mean, that was us. Parents were working. We had our passes, and we would walk to the mall and go to the fucking movies.
We didn't have summer camp. We didn't. Mom and Dad didn't have a summer camp to send us off to for months. They were like, all right, you can walk to the mall. Here's some money to go watch a movie. Just don't get in trouble, and make sure you're back before dinner. And that was about it. Like, it was pretty, we were latchkey kids, without.
Yeah, we did just fine.
Yeah.
No safe spaces, no nothing. It was just get there, back. I mean, it was a pretty good trek to the mall. I mean, that was.
Yeah, it was an adventure for, like, I mean, that's like Dar traveling from, like, his home village to the big city, like, that's a good mile and a half, in the summer, in Texas summer heat. So, yeah, I mean,
that high school wasn't there yet. In between, that was just open field. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then once they were constructing that, we would go play with BB guns or whatever in all the mounds of dirt and all the pipes when they were laying the foundation and stuff.
Yeah, and I remember.
But I mean, our trips to walking to the mall.
Yeah, to watch movies like this.
Going to the gold mine.
Yep. Oh man, well, we're at that point to decide whether this is a top shelf video or not. I'm trying to remember who went first last time, but
you made me go first.
Okay. So I really like this movie in rewatch. I feel like it has, like, so it's funny because I would think, based on the cover and based on the concept, I think a lot of people, like young people now that have never seen this movie and are looking for something to watch from a younger generation, whether it's from their parents or whatever, they'd be like, oh, that sounds goofy. That sounds like a good, fun mystery science theater type movie. I actually don't think that this is like a mystery science theater type movie. I feel like now, at the same time though, this is also not a super serious, like, Conan the Barbarian movie, which has like it has a very dramatic, serious tone. And this is somehow like in the middle of all that. And I feel like it does make it more accessible. But then when you watch it, I can see a lot of people going like, well, wait a minute. So kids are thrown in fires. There's like women bathing at the edge of the river. Like this one kid gets arrowed in the chest. They kill a dog. Like, it's a little heavy. And I feel like at the end of the day, like this is not a top shelf video, but this is probably a top shelf video selects. And I say that because this is a really good movie. And I think it's like I said, watching it, I just kept shaking my head of like, man, this movie is so underrated. Like, why do people not talk about this movie more when they talk about fantasy movies or movies when they make a list of the best sword and sandal movies? Because I don't know if it's just because like Don Coscarelli just got a bad roll of the dice and was like ahead of his time or something. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's very unappreciated. I feel like it's a very, like, it holds up for the most part. Like, there's some parts that visually maybe don't hold up super great, but I don't think that's anybody's fault. So yeah, I feel like this is a top shelf video selects. I don't know if it's a top shelf video. What do you think?
Okay. Well, since you got to go first, I wrote it down. I'm going to show you what I wrote down.
Okay. All right.
But like everything you were saying, like, how I'm looking at, so they had a $9 million budget and they made 14. So it wasn't, I don't know what you would consider a flop, but I mean, they got their return.
They made their money back.
And they made $5 million. I mean, so I don't know what the expectations were. I mean, I don't know I don't know if they were expecting Conan the Barbarian type of,
right,
bang.
Yeah.
But so check this out.
Of course.
Selects also. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, because this is one of those defining, like you said, I mean, it falls under the sandal, sword and sorcery. And this, to me, encapsulates that genre, and that we grew up in the satanic panic of D&D. I mean, there's only been a few movies that we've kind of keep referencing D&D, but but this is definitely one where, and again, we grew up and we've been adulting for quite a while now. I did my time in the Army. You did your time, the Art Institute and all the different companies you've had the privilege of working for. But now that we're all, grown up and, now I've got money to buy toys and, I got 3D printers and I've got a fancy computer and I got teenage kids. Well, I got one teenage kid left. All the rest are older. But I mean, I'm playing D&D with older folks and high school kids, and like I'm getting to, I guess, be a kid again,
right,
to an extent.
Right.
So now it's like I see this, I'm like, yeah, that's a random encounter, and yeah, that's okay. I see the motivation, and I see the party is gathering, and then I see the big boss battle at the end, and this reminds me of everything that during that time period of us when we were kids, when we were just being kids and enjoying we got to see the whole sword and sorcery era at its best,
right?
And so revisiting this, I'm like, yeah, fuck, how would this not be a select? This movie is everything that we enjoyed about that time of our life,
right?
Where it's not a because like I think some of the ones, I'm trying to remember, some of the ones that we've put already in the selects,
right?
Pulp Fiction briefcase. Some of those are kind of like the deep cut kind of things, where this isn't so much a deep cut, but it's because it's out there. I mean, TBS, like you said, TBS was the BeastMaster station. I mean, so
right.
It's not like some hidden gem, but
I think it's like it's a forgotten gem, I think is what it is, right?
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
We have to
absolutely.
remind people that this is something that's out there, and it's not like some people may have, like, maybe there are millennials and people that grew up with like BeastMaster, the TV series, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember the TV series. As a matter of fact, I want to say Denise was like, she said that in the Philippines, I think she was like, I did watch the television series because that was around the era of Xena and Hercules, and then there was like the BeastMaster series. So like there was that the clinging on of like Sword and Sandal, but that had made its way to TV and kind of like the WB version of TV or whatever you want to call that. And we, like you said, I think we had the opportunity to grow up at the height of these sorts of films. And for whatever reason, this one just kind of seems to be lost because it doesn't equally compare to like Conan the Barbarian or Red Sonja or Sorcerer, or there's just like there's a couple of the sort of these like Deathstalker, and they were like 3 Deathstalkers, and for some reason, like this one, I feel like I don't want to say you have to sell it to people, but it's like you want to make sure that somebody is going to watch this, is going to appreciate it. I don't want to say that they can't watch it and make fun of it, but it's more like there's a fair amount of substance, and if you're really into like mythology and backstory and like the stuff you were talking about when we started recording about like how you felt about Star Wars, if you're somebody who appreciates those sorts of things, like you can watch this with a very eye for like that sort of thing and go like, oh yeah, like the whole transfer to the cow is why he has BeastMaster, or he has these animal abilities, and like the witches, are probably like, we're all like hot women, but then they gave up their beauty to have like eternal like life or whatever. Like there's so much there that you can kind of just like sink your teeth into, that I feel like you could do that. And to what you were saying when we started, yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer that the second and third movie kind of go the way of you could say more slapstick comedy, because once they are in modern day LA, it's like, okay, like it's not as serious as these movies. They're fun.
It takes away the fantasy part.
It does. I mean, it does. It becomes more of like a hey, how can we keep the longevity of this even cheaper than having to build all these sets and all that stuff? It's like, well, we can film it in LA and somehow make up a reason for him to be out there instead of building more sets or having to train swords people to do stuff or whatever, like it's like, okay, I guess, but I don't know. Like, I feel like, again, thinking about Don Coscarelli as a director and a storyteller, like I love the fantasy world of this. I love the fantasy world that he builds in Phantasm and all the Phantasm movies, of like the alternate reality, or the like the world where those characters kind of live in. And then like Bubba Hotep is another one, where it's just kind of zany, but it's like the character and what the characters have to kind of go through is so outlandish and childlike that it's more like the kind of fun ideas that we would come up with when we were young, and we really wouldn't question like, oh, that sounds dumb. It's like, no, because we didn't really know what like dumb, or what, we didn't be like, oh, that's not going to sell, that's not going to make money. It's like, we never really thought about that. We just thought about, wouldn't it be cool if like G.I. Joe was fighting in Transformer Land with, like with a subset of like a version of them in a medieval time, so like Snake Eyes is like a knight, but he's got cool knight armor that looks like his current armor, but it's also medieval. You know what I mean? Like you go so outlandish with all these ideas, and I feel like Don Coscarelli was brave enough to just follow through with what he wanted to do there and be like, I don't care if you guys are going to say this or that or whatever. That's what I feel like we should put on the film. That's how we should do it. Let's do it. And I feel like, like I said, it's kind of that lost gem of a movie. So
yeah. I guess to put a cap on it, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree with the whole forgotten gem, the way you put it, because I mean, TBS it's a business, right? They have to rotate they got to keep up with the times. So I guess it's been forgotten because once TBS took it out of the rotation,
right,
it just kind of tapered off, and and now it's just left to the people who have the VHS on a shelf somewhere,
right?
Because it's not on every other Saturday night, which sucks, but it's I get it. It's the stations have to keep up with now it's like the Lord of the Rings, or I don't know what's the current stuff, the Harry Potters, I don't know.
Actually I think it is like Harry Potter and Jerry Maguire.
So they got their usual like now they're on their whatever the current rotation is, but we were lucky enough to have BeastMaster. That was the TBS rotation when we were growing up, So I guess we agree that it's a top shelf video selects. We will keep it there. As far as like the media format, where did you watch this streaming? I assume like on Pluto or one of those free on Pluto.
Yep.
With ads.
Which nothing wrong with that.
I'll take it.
I will say, okay, so I guess a couple things, right? Like you were talking about the cover. I always regret. I had the opportunity to buy this poster, like one of the movie posters for this. I saw it once. they were asking for a little bit more than I was wanting to spend, and I was like, maybe if it's still there when I come back, or whatever. But I will say, like, you were talking about the cover. This is why I always kind of wondered, like, did Frank Frazetta like do concept, for this, or what's kind of the backstory there? And I tried to look up what I could, but I couldn't really seem to find any like sort of thing other than there people saying like, oh yeah, clearly there was influence there. And if you look up, there's a poster he did that's called, let me see if I can find the name of it. I think it's called The Daughter of Mars. And it was like a cover for like one of the magazines that he would do. Let me see if I can. I want to say that's what it's called. I think it's called the Daughter of Mars. And so like there's like a backdrop of Mars, but it has a guy, and they're on like a lizard sort of character, kind of looking thing, and he's holding up his sword, and she's kind of like in kind of like a I guess you could say a little bit of a like an outfit kind of thing there. And then if you look at that poster, or if you look at the cover of that book, it's almost exactly what the BeastMaster like VHS cover is. So this is, I don't know if this is what you were talking about, right? This is the cover. Yeah,
that's the theatrical movie poster.
Okay, and
image.
Yeah, have you did you pull up a Princess of Mars, I think is what it's called. Yeah, so if you look at that poster, or if you look at I want to say he was commissioned to do that for like a magazine or something. If you put that right next to the BeastMaster, it's exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's almost exactly the same. I'm surprised there wasn't any kind of like lawsuit that it's like, hey, that's, you basically stole that.
Yeah, just a different animal, but
animal,
that's about it.
Different background. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say what's actually kind of cool. And again, next time you're over at my house, I have to show you this. I actually have this. Like, I have one of these paintings that I found.
Is that one of the ones you picked up at that one place?
That some guy was going to throw away, and I was like, I'll give you like $50 for all these. Now, granted, they're kind of dirty and they need to be cleaned up, and I'm going to see if I can find a a poster.
You know a person.
Yeah, I know a person who can help restore those. So I love the VHS. I think the VHS on this is really great. But what I did want to show you though, and I'm sure anybody can look this up. So when I watched this the other night, I watched the 4K version, and there is a 4K version, like a special box edition that was put out by like Vinegar Syndrome, I think is what it is. Yeah. So like this is the box for it. Like it's like, and then it opens, and it has like like everything, like the DVD and everything goes on this little like sleeve, but it has all this like art, which is kind of like it's kind of like updated modern art. It looks more accurate to the movie. Like you can tell, like he actually looks like him on the front, but then on the back, like it's got all this.
That's cool.
But it also comes with like, obviously it comes with like the DVD, which has like an updated like art, but then on the back has like the original art. And then the other cool thing about it is it comes with this little booklet that's in here as well too, that has like concept art and like other like things from the movie where it kind of talks about the movie. So this is like a really cool, like when I found out the set was coming out, like this is really cool. They have like a Japanese poster of what I guess this would have looked like, which they probably hired like better illustrators, because I was like, man, that looks really awesome. And I would love to have a Japanese like poster of this. But even that, like if you look at like some of this concept art, like of this dude in the armor.
The chieftain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a unique weapon at the end there.
Yeah, which is really cool. I feel like this is something that I definitely would want to have in the store. because like this concept art, like here's like one of like the Birdman people or whatever, like doing their thing or whatever. But I feel like I really like that they put out this special edition because it almost feels like this gives it the recognition that I feel like it was lacking, like that we were talking about earlier. Is like I feel like it's a little bit of a forgotten gem, that this movie is so much fun and it's so much adventure and it's got like good looking women and good looking dudes and sword fighting and like, I mean, it's got everything, you know, that you're looking for during that time era. And so I feel like I would love to have it. It doesn't, unfortunately, and it says this actually at the very beginning of the movie, that normally when you do a 4K like upres, if you have the film negative, that's the best way to do it because you can restore it with all its full color and everything because you have the RGB information from the negative. But unfortunately, at the start of this, it tells you that it says like that the film negative was lost, unfortunately, and I don't know if it was like damaged beyond repair or that they just never that it got lost or someone, you know, whatever. So I don't know if it was like, oh man, that's a bummer. Like if they actually like lost the actual like the actual negative or whatever. But even if that's the case, it's like, well, they were able to use the film positive to actually put the film together. So it does look okay, but it's kind of grainy and it there's some parts that don't look super great because it looks like they either had to touch it up or use other like elements, maybe from a laser disc or something to sort of combine it all together. But the audio is really, really good. Like just for the audio alone and the soundtrack and everything kind of makes it worth the 4K because it's like, oh wow, that's really cool. You know, especially if you have like a full surround sound kind of setup. So I think that if we had it in 4K, that would probably be fine, along with like, you know, Blu-ray or whatever. And I think just for the select version or the select audience, we probably need to have like VHS versions of it, you know, on standby just in case.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I think that's what I was kind of thinking with regards to the formats.
I'm good with that.
Do you have any thoughts on the marketing items? There was one that I thought of last minute when I was like writing some notes on the movie. But is there anything that comes to mind when you're thinking about like what we could have for the store that relates to this BeastMaster?
Well, I mean, just because, you know, obviously the animals. I immediately, first thing that came to mind was just like different plushies.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Tigers, ferrets, bird, you know, maybe even a bear. But yeah, just I mean, we could. I mean, even if there's animals that aren't in the movie, but it could just be it's a beast. It's a, you know, we could just any type of plushy animal. We could just slap BeastMaster on it.
Yeah,
the ferrets especially.
Yeah, I think that we had
those would be cool. They don't have to be super big, and then maybe I mean the eagle would be cool just because it's part of the movie. But yeah, my immediate thought as far as merch was going to just be like kind of almost like a, you know, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like Beanie Baby size, or wasn't there some plushy animals that kind of came out? Maybe Beanie Babies are too small, but I think there was a series of like plushy animals that came out at some point back in the day.
I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the names of those, but yes, I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I definitely agree that we have to have Kodo and is it Phobo? Podo. That's right.
Yeah, Podo and
Kodo. We definitely have to have that. I think it would be kind of cool to have like a McDowell like walking stick, you know, even though he uses it as like a as a weapon.
Yeah, but those were kind of unique. Yeah, those
like
the staffs.
Yeah, it was like a staff, but it was like it looked like a walking stick, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to turn it into a weapon." But I could see that being like a cool, like, you know, kind of a cool piece, you know, to have. I obviously I think we have to have the poster and like mini posters or something, because the pose, the pose is very iconic, and it just kind of like, I don't know. I think it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool, but maybe a little gross for some people. But I think we should have the ring with the eyeball in it. You know, like as I don't know if that's like a candy or it's just kind of like a gimmicky toy. But like, you know, you can move the eyelid back, and then the eye like sort of shows itself. So maybe it's kind of like a Halloween kind of thing or something. But yeah, that would be fun. I think those are kind of.
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I have a set of. I have multiple sets of dice for D&D, and I have some that have like an eyeball in the inside. So no matter how you roll it, the eyeball's like up. Facing up. Yeah. So that we might be able to pitch that, spin it as the maybe like a dice set, like that type of dice set, and then with a ring. Kind of like, you know, one of those lollipop rings that looks like the eyeball also. So just make it like a set.
Yeah, I like the idea of actually just dice in general, right? Like, I think we can sell dice in the store, and they can be BeastMaster themed. You know, probably with the color scheme. You know, like yellow, gold, blue, kind of. Or you can either be the good guys and have like the gold bluish sort of theme, or you can be the bad guys and have more like the black red, you know, sort of. Yeah. And it can have like some cool etchings, you know, in the dice or something. I think that would be cool. Yeah. I think there was one that kind of slipped my mind. I think like this had a concept art book. I think if we could have that little booklet, I think it would be kind of cool to have like a BeastMaster booklet sort of thing. Yeah. But one of the things I was thinking about, and I think this hadn't really thought too much about this, but I thought that Rip Torn's like outfit and just his overall look was really cool, and it was kind of like edgy goth like metal. That I was like, I feel like we need both the helmet of like the main horde guy, you know, you know, just so that. Because it's just cool, and you know, maybe it's made of plastic or whatever, you know, but you can flip it upside down and use it as a popcorn bucket, I guess, if you wanted. But like Rip Torn has like part of his outfit, he has like these earrings that have like skulls on the bottom of them, and they're kind of like long or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I was like, man, I think we should have stuff like that, you know, like if you want to take your edgy goth, you know, sort of look, you can have some of the dark, you know, sort of edgy sort of look, you know, that you can have with that. The only other thing I could think of, and this would be a very custom item, would be like you could have a cauldron that has like a little mini TV built into it, and it has like a VHS player that you would put the tape in, but kind of the way the witches were looking at. Like they were watching TV on this cauldron from the top down. Right. I feel like we could have like a little cauldron. Maybe that's like more for the store, you know, like we just have it in the store. And like as people walk in, they like pass by the cauldron and like BeastMaster's playing in the little cauldron or something, you know, like it'd be kind of cool like that.
I could see that. Yeah. I'm not going to shake my ass like the witches were.
Oh, no. I'm in no shape.
Way past.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm in no shape for that. I'll probably throw out a hip. But any other last things that we want to touch on with BeastMaster before we put this one back on the shelf for inventory for people to?
No, other than just I had fun reliving the TBS era.
Yeah,
I was chuckling to myself because I watched this pretty late last night, and so I couldn't really make the comments or tell the stories to my wife. But yeah, no, I remember kind of. I cannot tell whoever's listening to this how many times we watched this movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I think I saw the name of that weapon, that bladed weapon that he had was the Kappa.
Okay. Yeah.
Is what I saw it listed as. I was like, the glaive in Krull should have had this kind of it should have gotten this kind of love.
Yeah.
Because they used it, they showed him how to use it. He got trained up on it. And at the end, he ends up giving it as a gift to to Tal, the incoming king.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Krull was still a good movie, but this bladed weapon got more love than the glaive did.
Yeah, like tenfold.
Yeah. This got lots of action. It was cool. I mean, I guess. I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. I mean,
yeah, I feel like
it definitely reminded me of the childhood vibes.
It really
was in full effect.
It really, really does. And again, I feel like inspired like both of us to just have that imagination as we kind of got a little bit older of cool ideas and cool things and stuff that we probably sketched on our like book covers, in school when you're just like drawing like cool swords or drawing cool weapons or like
I had all kinds of all my for a good I can't remember what years, but like the book covers were put on backwards so that you could it was like just like a draw. Yeah, it was just a blank canvas and I remember drawing, at least trying to draw, these fantasy type figures with swords and I never got good at drawing bodies like human form. These were your prototypical, hero. He wasn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger built, but he was toned,
right?
And of course, Tanya Roberts is gorgeous. So yeah, it just man, it was fun watching this again.
Yep. No, yeah. I 100% agree. I'm glad we added this one to the list. I don't know. Yeah. I guess we'll have to see if we've got one more sword and sorcerer or I think maybe there's one more that we can look at and then maybe this will be a like a seasonal thing for us is like the summer of these sorts of movies, right? Because I feel like there's plenty and I don't know, maybe we'll touch one more before we move on to the remainder of the season, to see what we want to touch base on, but this one was definitely fun for sure. We're always looking for feedback from everybody. If anybody wants to shoot us over an email, we are at topshelfvideo podcast@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot us over ideas or maybe something that we didn't know about with regards to BeastMaster or other versions of I'm sure that there were probably other versions of BeastMaster in other countries or something. I mean, I'm sure that there's probably maybe there is a bigger following than we actually realize. It's just whenever I look, I don't see too much on it, but leave us a comment or some rate us on wherever you get podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple. I think we're like on all kinds of places. I think like Amazon Music and stuff like that. Just about anywhere you can get a podcast, I think you can find us. Definitely give us a rating, give us a review, give us some comments. We'd love to hear from everybody there.
For sure.
I think I think we do have one more that we may want to cover, and I think partly because being at your house recently and we were looking at the crossbolts and catapults.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one more that maybe we can talk about before we sign off. So, I guess for the time being, though, we will need to get all these tapes that we've been sorting through and back in the inventory and get them back on the shelves. And then we're going to have to open up for business today. So I guess if you want to take the cart and start putting tapes back up on the shelf, I will go get the till for the register, and we will be kicking
popcorn popping.
Yep, get everything going for the store to be open. But this is a good one. So I guess we will catch everybody at the next work shift. See you guys.
See you.
All right.